Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the Online Series 9 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the last episode, we used this really interesting team featuring Cradily, ESCAVALIER, Xurkitree, and more, so we'll be playing a couple more matches today. Details for the team, by the way, are in the description below, and thanks so much as always for watching Road to Ranked. So first game here, it's like a slower team, but they do have Landorus-T, so like Swords Dance plus Follow Me turn 1 is something I'm a little bit nervous about. I really don't love that, to be honest. Cradily is really good into the like Torkoal Glastrier combination here, so I like it a lot. It's mainly Indeedee Landorus that I'm worried about as a lead. I guess to which I could maybe Dynamax Porygon. So I'm actually going to go Porygon Cradily, I think ESCAVALIER, and Politoed. Xurkitree makes very little sense in this game, mainly because it's completely walled by like half of my opponent's team. Not half, I mean, I guess mainly Rillaboom and Landorus, but like you really don't do very much damage with it. The Shuka Berry is like helpful against Landorus, but there's nothing that I really want to Eerie Impulse other than like sure, Porygon, Torkoal, and Indeedee are all special attackers, but like it doesn't warrant bringing Xurkitree because Xurkitree, if I'm bringing it for Eerie Impulse, I want it to be on something that I expect to Dynamax, and I think those three are all very unlikely to max, given that my opponent is Glastrier and Landorus. I think the upside of a Xurkitree set like this is if we go up against a special attacker that's like slower than Xurkitree, and we Eerie Impulse them the turn that they Dynamax, for example, and just completely make their Dynamax like a lot less useful, for example. So yeah, I think ideally the goal with this team as I played it in that last episode is to pick up 2 quick KOs and then click Perish on with Politoed to end the game. They're coming really close on timer, by the way. If it's Landorus Porygon lead, I wouldn't be surprised if it were like they timed out. Because Landorus Porygon's not bad, I guess, against us, but it's not amazing either. And I actually think Dynamax Porygon 2 is very much on the table right now, so we'll see. But thanks so much as always for watching Road to Ranked. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. Question of the day, I want to know if you've tried out Series 10 yet. And you may notice I have some empty space down there on the overlay now, and I left Panda Global. Yeah, it was announced today after 3 years, and so yeah, thanks to them for all the support throughout the years. And so as of right now, I'm not representing any organization or team. Okay, it's gonna be Porygon plus Indeedee lead from there, and we both get special attack boosts, and they're faster. I mean, I almost want to just Trick Room Protect turn 1 into Meteor Beam Tri Attack Indeedee turn 2, but they could obviously like get fancy and reverse my Trick Room here. They could even max their Porygon, max Strike Expanding Force onto my Porygon. That would be a really sick play. That would be a very good play if they find it. So let's see. The question then is like whether or not that does enough to KO my Porygon. It'd be close. They did get a special attack boost, but the dynamic of like matchups like this are always super interesting, where it's like we have slow Pokemon, they have slow Pokemon. Do we want to really set up Trick Room? Doesn't feel great. Okay, they don't max their Porygon, but I don't know. There's a lot they can go for right now. It's just Expanding Force. Okay. If their Porygon doesn't move immediately here, they're Trick Rooming. Well, actually, it doesn't matter, I guess, if we're both clicking Trick Room. Alright, they just try to attack. I'll take it. It's a lot of damage, though. I'm not sure I love that. Okay. I almost want to recover here, to be honest. Like, yes, I end up eating an Expanding Force with Cradily, but it's like, if I actually pick up the KO on them, it's pretty worth it. Because we can max Cradily. The only problem here is if you protect Indeedee and then just reverse Trick Room with Porygon. It's actually a pretty likely play, I feel like. If they go for that, what do I do? I feel forced to max Cradily then. Incineroar would have been nice to stop the Expanding Force spam, but I don't want to switch it in. Like I mean, it wouldn't make very much sense in the context here right now. Plus, we didn't bring it. Whoa, I did not see that coming this turn. Wow. What a play. What a play. That is kudos. Kudos. I mean, surely it survives this double bulk now, unless it has like no bulk, and even then, yeah. What a fantastic play. That's so sick. Now the thing is whether or not you actually pick up a double KO right now. Oh, they're not going to. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's fine then. I'm gonna get a burn, whatever. So they did it solely to survive, right? Actually, without the burn, Cradily would have survived the turn. That's an unfortunate burn. Okay. Okay. Well, I get a Escavalier in. And you just committed your Dynamax to an Indeedee. So it's like, it's not that bad. I get to click recover right now. Now, I think it's likely Indeedee is going to max guard. But I really don't want to risk getting hit by a max flare. I guess I do have Flutterby. I mean, surely a max guard here, right? Oh, wait, we definitely don't have to max Escavalier. Yeah. Okay, the play I like here is actually recover and just Mega Horn. The only downside here is if we miss Mega Horn and they don't max guard. They max guard. Good. Perfect. The reason I don't want to max immediately here is because it's likely they have Torkoal and Glastrier in the back. If they didn't get that burn, though, we would have been in such good shape. But I thought the double would definitely KO the Cradily, to be honest. That's why we even survived. Oh, you reverse Trick Room here. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is like the Indeedee moveset here. Like, that's the main thing that concerns me. We could even max Porygon. There's so many different ways we can play this game, which is so fascinating to me. But, like, one direction we could go right now is to max, go for max Strike, and then switch Escavalier out into Politoed. It's actually a really interesting option. Unless Max Strike doesn't KO. It might not. It might not. Alright, I guess I'll... This is a really bizarre game. I'm going to try attack Porygon here and switch out into Politoed. Yeah, I never want to max Escavalier there. Oh, wow. I didn't expect that. This is super good for us. Okay, they went all in on this turn. They basically were like, I need a KO Escavalier, I'm going to flare, but this puts us in such a good spot because we just won the Weather War. So, that was a very, very interesting Dynamax, and it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, if they didn't have that burn, it actually would have worked out super well for us. Oh, I guess they changed the weather back into sun if they're flaring. Okay, they do have flare. That's the thing I wanted to bait out this entire time. So to see that finally come out is fantastic for us. And we get a free try attack into the Porygon slot, which is now Torkoal. That should do 50% with the special attack boost that we had. So all that is very good for us. Now their last one, I would think is Glastrier. It would make no sense for it to be anything else. And great damage from try attack. Okay, fantastic. This game is still very losable though, so let's make sure we don't throw the game. The play I think I like the most here is that we actually just max the Porygon here. We max it, we go for max Strike onto... do we max? Okay, here's the play I like the most. I like maxing, going for Strike onto Torkoal, and then protecting. Because we have the Parasol endgame to play towards right now, and we have the health advantage as well. Is that going out into Porygon? Oh, that's actually a really good switch if they didn't follow me. Because then they can go follow me Trick Room this next turn. Alright, we'll see how this plays out. Nice switch, though. Very good switch. Maybe I should have just striked into the Indeedee then. Why didn't I? Worried about Indeedee protect? But I guess Torkoal's never doing anything in that position, right? So, there's also no Psychic Terrain after this turn, but they could go for Mystical Fire just onto Porygon to decrease my special attack. And just Expanding Force here. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'll feel bad if I lose this, though, because at this point it feels like we have such an advantage that it's like kind of inexcusable to lose the game. It's not a KO, but the thing is, they don't know we have Helping Hand on Politoed. Okay. The main thing here is I don't feel comfortable switching out Politoed right now. I really don't. Helping Hand Strike should KO that Porygon. But the thing is, if I'm expecting Follow Me, well, Torkoal's not even that big of a threat to us right now. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Helping Hand Strike, and if they get greedy and they try to read Politoed switching out and we KO Porygon, that should be game over. Even if they go Follow Me Trick Room, it's not the end of the world. It's still 3-3, right? And we still have a Escavalier with potential weather control. And one more turn of Dynamax with Porygon. But I can't help but think, I mean, if I KO'd Indeedee last turn, I had nothing to do with my Porygon, or sorry, my Politoed, and I don't want to just potentially sacrifice a Escavalier, because right now, if I were in my opponent's shoes, I'd actually fish for the switch out. But the main question I have to ask myself is, oh, perfect. Perfect. It's actually Rillaboom as their last one, so not Glastrier, okay. But this means, well, actually I was going to say, if we KO Torkoal, we win the game with the Escavalier, but that's not really the case. But, yeah, this is great for Helping Hand. This should be a KO onto the Porygon. And now, like, once again, they have no resist to the Porygon, which is awesome as well. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So yeah, I think like in this matchup, Escavalier was a very good Dynamax option, but I ended up maxing Porygon because I felt like it gave me like the best odds of winning in that position, where we were at a point where my opponent's Dynamax was stalled out. They didn't really have much to pressure my Porygon, and we just do so much damage. But I don't know, you could make the argument, like, I just didn't want to take Expanding Force outside of Dynamax, but I guess it's not really that much damage, so maybe we could have gotten away with just attacking there anyway. You have to bring out Indeedee right now, right? There's no way you can bring out Torkoal, because your Torkoal is just bait for the Porygon. If you bring out Torkoal, it's an easy win for us, to be honest, because we just swap Escavalier in for the Politoed, and then we win the Weather War. And then I'd probably Hailstorm the Rillaboom? Nah, I'm not sure. But this game is still far from over, especially because their Indeedee does have Mystical Fire, and they currently have the Sun up, right? That's going to KO the Escavalier, I would think, even with the Assault Vest. And it's not that easy to just win the Weather War right now. But this was definitely an interesting game. Yep, so there's Indeedee. Other question is, does your Indeedee have Protect? I mean, Expanding Force, Mystical Fire, Follow Me, Protect. That moveset makes a ton of sense. They just got rid of their own terrain. Oh, that actually makes things really interesting as well. Wait. Yeah, by you getting rid of your own terrain, what do I want to do here? Like, I almost want to Protect Politoed here. Because I think if you're my opponent, you fish for that switching into Escavalier. Now, we should win if we KO Indeedee, because Escavalier should outspeed Torkoal and can just drill run it for a KO. So I think the play I lean towards here the most is to max Strike into the Indeedee slot and then Protect with the Politoed slot. Okay, Politoed protects. I think that indicates neither of my opponent's Pokemon should be going for a Protect, which would be great. Yeah, they just Expanding Force. Okay, perfect. Here's the thing. I didn't want... Like, even a Wood Hammer here is not going to KO Porygon, right? And we're even faster. Perfect. Yeah, mainly because we got the speed drop on them on the switch in. But this is fantastic, right? Now, like, they don't even have terrain control anymore. Porygon just outspeeds. And ultimately, if you look at what my opponent brought, they just didn't have a very good Dynamax option. Ooh! Okay, that didn't do that much. But that was scary for a second. Probably Assault Vest with Superpower then. In the end, they didn't bring Glastrier or Landorus, which is actually really surprising to me because those feel like the best Dynamax options on my opponent's team. Like, I was fully expecting Glastrier over Rillaboom, but now we just have total command of the game, I think. Let's see. How does my opponent ever win this? You would need a Superpower critical hit onto Porygon, as well as a Drill Run miss. Actually, by switching out Politoed here, I think we always just win anyway. So, I'm just going to try attack here. I know I'm faster than the Rillaboom. So, even if they protect Torkoal, Superpower me, they need a crit, I think, to KO with Superpower. So, this should be a wrap. And if I bring Politoed back in, then I can just go for Surf plus Mega Horn, and that should close out the game. And Rillaboom's already at -1 attack, so you're really not doing any damage with it. So, yeah, I like this play. I think this always is the best play. I don't love Perish Song. Oh, Perish Song could also actually work here. What's the risk of it? Escavalier missing? I think this play is fine. Yeah, they don't even go for a Protect on Torkoal, so that seals it up. But, I mean, even if they Protect, crit Superpower on a Porygon, I just bring Politoed back in. It's Politoed Escavalier, and then I just Surf Mega Horn. So then you would need, like, a bajillion crits on my own Surf, and for me to miss the Mega Horns onto it. I would actually probably just Iron Head Rillaboom at that point, rather than go for Mega Horn. Yeah. And then, yeah, actually, because we reset the rain, Escavalier then can just safely KO the Torkoal with the Razor Shell. Yeah, so I think we pretty much always had this locked up. But the upside for us is our opponent just didn't have a good Dynamax, right? Like, the Indeedee Dynamax was really cheeky, and it ended up, like, the one thing we needed to make sure in this game was to not get cheesed by a Max Flare, right? Like, you could, the turn they switched in Torkoal and Max Flare to Escavalier, if we stayed in with the Escavalier there and, like, had Dynamaxed it, for example, we probably just lose the game right there and then. So, because we had, like, the advantage in terms of how our team matched up against theirs, we just needed to play safe. No need to make any aggressive predictions, just make the safe play, and that should carry us forward most of the time, right? So, that's basically what happened in that match. But definitely a really fun one, and I can't remember the last time I saw Indeedee Dynamax on us, and so, yeah, that was really interesting to see. But let's look for our next game here. All right, game 2 here. What do we have? It's going to be... Wow, okay. Raichu, Charizard, Ninetales, Azumarill, Rillaboom, and the Mudsdale. Man, the one time I want to bring Xurkitree, they have a Raichu. Cradily is good, though. Very good, actually. It might even be our max option. I wonder if it's weakness policy Charizard. There's like a slight chance that's the case. I mean, having Politoed is good. I think I want to go with the top 4, but I don't know what to lead if that's the case. I think it's probably Porygon Cradily, Politoed Escavalier. Yeah. You can make an argument for Incineroar. Obviously, it resists fire, has Intimidate for Mudsdale and Rillaboom. Xurkitree, you could make an argument for if there weren't a Raichu. But yeah, I think I've just found it kind of tough to bring Xurkitree because I like Porygon, Incineroar, Escavalier are so staple, like such big staples, and like I feel like I've brought Politoed to every game just because it has the opportunity of Perish Song. It's gonna be Raichu Azumarill. Wow, this is like a fun throwback to 2015. You can fake out Belly Drum would be really interesting. Okay. Low-key, I'm a little bit nervous about Belly Drum on turn 1. Is it really that much of an issue, though? Even if you Belly Drum? Like, I think we can just Trick Room here and go for Meteor Beam. It's just that I almost want to max Cradily turn 1 just to deal with the Azumarill. But I don't think it's worth it. I'm like, Belly Drum would be so interesting. Although I guess you can't even hit Cradily with your water type attacks, which is pretty funny. Okay, I'm down to just Trick Room Meteor Beam Azumarill turn 1. And they fake out Porygon. Okay. Wait, we're faster than Azumarill? Wow. I didn't expect that. Okay. That's very interesting. That is very, very, very interesting. Maybe I should have just entered. No, it could be Sap Sipper, though. Yeah, so, I mean, I like Meteor Beam here. It's not Citrus, it's just... Is that AV? That looks like it. That's so bad. That is really frustrating. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. We're still in, honestly, a decent position, so it's not the end of the world by any means, but, man, I don't love... Like, because, like, I don't think a T-Bolt was KOing this Cradily, right? Like, so I guess you'd have to Nuzzle. 53 speed. I mean, a Escavalier Shout Speed Azumarill here. Should I Trick Room? Are they really going to have Charizard and Ninetales in the back? I feel like it's probably Rillaboom Mudsdale, to be honest. So, like, I almost want to just attack this turn. Nah, I'm down to Trick Room. That's fine. Trick Room and Energy Ball here. I guess actually, and they Volt Switch. Yeah, in retrospect, I like not Trick Rooming here because if I actually thaw out with the Cradily, it's better for us to not have Trick Room because they're probably bringing in Mudsdale right now. I think that's AV. Oh, they bring out Rillaboom. Oh, it works for me. Rillaboom, Azumarill, Raichu. I mean, once again, what's the max option here? It should be whatever their last one is, but all of these right now is Escavalier hard wins against. I'm hoping it's Mudsdale, because if it is Mudsdale, they have no answer into... Yeah, stays frozen. But they're going to Ice Punch, so I get a free switch into Escavalier. That's not too bad then, I'll take it. But it's just a question of, yeah, is it Mudsdale in the back? I think that should be AV, Azumarill. So then I'm glad I didn't Dynamax turn 1, especially if we got frozen on the Dynamax. That would have been pretty gnarly. We have Politoed in the back. The goal really should be to just pick up 2 quick KOs. So I think we brought Escavalier. We max the Escavalier. We max Bug and Ice Beam into Rillaboom. And then go from there. Yeah, just Ice Beam here. I mean, Azumarill probably has knockoff, so it can knock off the AV, but whatever. I don't really care that much about that. I really just want 2 KOs ASAP, because as soon as I do, Politoed can end this game. And Raichu and Azumarill aren't really huge offensive threats. Yes, Raichu has super effective damage into Politoed, but it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I think if they didn't get that freeze, if the Raichu had Nuzzle, they could have gone Nuzzle Ice Punch onto the Cradily, but then they don't get the free switch into Rillaboom. Also, if I weren't frozen, I could have just predicted Cradily, right? But then, I guess the question is what I do with Porygon. Probably protect Tri-Attack, honestly. Anyway, it's frustrating to get frozen, but no reason to tilt off the face of the earth when we still have a pretty good team advantage here, all things considered. Especially because I think they probably didn't bring Charizard or Ninetales. If they did, that'd be really interesting. Because it's like, I feel like it has to be Mudsdale in the back. Like, that's the only logical explanation. So I'm just going to try to pick up 2 quick KOs with the Escavalier, bring in Politoed, click Perish Song, and then end the game. I'm going to go for Fake Out. Perfect. I don't mind that at all. As long as you're not Focus Sash Rillaboom. Fantastic turn for us. Could have gone for Steel Spike onto Azumarill, but like I don't really care about what Azumarill does here, and getting rid of Rillaboom is more valuable for me in my opinion, just because we do have the Politoed in the back, so I'd rather get rid of that because now I can confidently switch out Porygon, right? And just go for Liquidation, that's fine. 142 down to 90, so that did 52 damage. Not enough for a KO, and after a grassy terrain, not even enough for a potential 2-hit KO. Well, as of right now it will, but after one more turn of grassy terrain, yeah. It's going to be probably roll-based. Should be Mudsdale here as the last one. If they bring out Charizard or Ninetales, I mean, they're done for. Because then I can just switch out Porygon into Politoed and then Geyser into their Fire type. Yeah, and they bring Raichu. They bring Raichu back out, huh? Okay, that's actually really interesting as a decision. I don't want to switch Porygon out right now, I don't think. Pretty safe. It should be AV Azumarill. I would think Steel Spike KOs, so I'm content to just click Recover here and Steel Spike into Azumarill. I guess the problem is if we miss out the KO with Steel Spike on Azumarill. That'd actually be pretty bad, and like I could have Quaked into Raichu, but I'm assuming it's Focus Sash Raichu here anyway, so it's like I'd rather just see, if I can pick up this KO, that'd be amazing. So, let's see. Brilliant. Let's go, Escavalier. Fantastic. So now we have a defense boost on both of these. Given that they switched in Raichu, it really makes me think that they actually brought one of the fire types in the back, which now actually makes things a little bit more interesting because we're on our last turn of Dynamax. But even if it's a fire type, yeah, if it's Charizard, I don't know if Max Geyser and Rain KOs the Charizard. That's my fear. No, it is Mudsdale. Okay, I'm surprised they brought Raichu out first then. Because now I definitely just win the game, right? 2 turns of Trick Room left. I have a defense boost, so there's really no downside to going for Tri-Attack onto Raichu. Like, the question here is whether I want to Steel Spike or Quake. But in the off chance it's AV Raichu, we haven't seen a Focus Sash yet. Oh, no, it should be AV on Azumarill, right? Yeah. I think I'll just Quake here. Because you would need a crit right now with Mudsdale, because we have that defense boost. So I just double up onto Raichu. If Raichu faints, Politoed ends the game with a Perish Song. It could have been interesting if they actually had Charizard in the back here. So, yeah, that freeze was a little bit scary for us, but in the end, like, I actually really like leading Cradily with this team because it just, like, packs a punch that people aren't expecting immediately. So, yeah. Does Mudsdale get access to, like, Blaze Kick or a Fire-type attack? Because if so, you do threaten a Escavalier, but with the defense boost, I don't think he'd one-shot anyway. And we're faster anyway as well, so, I don't know. I think I just... Yeah, it is Sash Raichu. So, like, because the AV was on Azumarill, maybe Steel Spike just for another defense boost there was the call, but I'm pretty sure we survive a Max Knuckle from the Mudsdale with the defense boost right now. If not, though, that's actually a really big issue. Oh, that was not even close, okay. I don't know, I was just thinking, what's the worst case scenario there? They're Life Orb close combat. That would be the worst case scenario. Yeah, but now we just get the KO onto Raichu. So, now what? Go back a little bit. There's still, what, 2 turns of Dynamax left on their end, obviously. We have boosts. We just bring out Politoed in this late game. I don't think Knuckle doesn't even KO here, so I'm down to just go for Recover. We don't even need a Perish Song as of right now, obviously. Recover and go for... Let's not activate a potential weakness policy, because that's the only way my opponent can come back in the game right now, so I'm just going to attack around weakness policy. I don't care about giving this thing defense boosts right now, because Politoed can actually just come in and click Surf a bunch. And as long as this doesn't crit, we should be good. Perfect. Great. Get the recover off. It's actually interesting, like whether or not I want to go for another recover the next turn, as opposed to ice beaming. I think it's probably correct to recover just to avoid any potential shenanigans and really make sure we survive. Because I don't even know if a +2 max knuckle when you crit would KO Porygon at full HP. Yeah. So I like recovering one more time with the Porygon right now and just Iron Heading into Mudsdale again. Just to guarantee that we're at full HP and we survived a turn. I guess, like, if a +2 Knuckle with the crit actually one-shots Porygon 2 at +1 defense, then it's never to click recover, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't one-shot us at full HP. We're just trying to stall at the Dynamax right now, right? And then just attack around a potential weakness policy. Like, I can just try attack Iron Head, and then bring in Politoed and click Surf. But this is a game in which, like, we could very easily throw if we activated a potential weakness policy, so that's why I don't want to Razor Shell here, because Mudsdale is a Pokemon that does have that comeback potential, and they actually go for Quake now. That's actually a really smart play, I like that. But ESCAVALIER, after that defense boost, actually survives, which is awesome for us. So I think that should end the game. I just want to, once again, play around the potential item on this Mudsdale. I don't know what it is yet, so until I see weakness policy, I want to assume it's weakness. Until I see an item, I want to assume it's weakness policy, or potentially a bulky berry. Those are the two things to consider. So they could close combat into Porygon now, but I think it's fine to just launch Ice Beam at this point. Yeah, I mean, if you're weakness policy and you close combat, you get the special defense drop, and then Surf should definitely finish you off. So yeah, I think it's fine to just Ice Beam and Iron Head now. And actually, if we're going for super effective damage, might as well just Razor Shell. Actually, can Razor Shell miss? I should have double checked that. Because for some reason I thought it was 95 accuracy. I mean, it just popped up on the screen, but I missed it. I didn't look at it. So yeah. But Mudsdale is just too low HP to pull off a comeback right now. I guess unless you have Earthquake, but even a +2 Earthquake shouldn't KO. And Surf at this point should just finish off Mudsdale with the Rain Up. Yep, they were weakness policy. Maybe it was better to try attack this turn, Ice Beam next turn, but... Oh, it's interesting that it's Body Press as your fighting type attack. It makes sense, because you can... I don't know. Close combat's a lot better there. So I'm guessing they just don't have close combat, but if that's the case, that's also really intriguing. You take those. Okay, just Ice Beam. ESCAVALIER was fantastic for us in this game, though, so I'm really happy about it. Sad like Cradily got frozen to start the game, but that's okay. It happens. And, yeah, I think like ESCAVALIER is just kind of an underplayed Pokemon in general throughout all of Sword and Shield. It's tough because, like, if you Intimidate it, burn it, or take its, like, Assault Vest away, it is considerably weaker. So with Sash Raichu. Now, this thing did have Nuzzle, so I don't know if the freeze really mattered that much. Because, like I said, my opponent could have just doubled up. Yeah, no close combat is really interesting. Now, it makes sense because the idea is you increase your defense via Max Steel Spike. But then you don't get the advantage of the weakness policy, right? Or the attack increases after your Dynamax when you're using Body Press. So it was AV Azumarill, Min Speed. Wide Lens Ninetales, wow. No Hypnosis though. Life Orb Charizard, and then, yeah. So, in the end, they did go with the 4 that I was kind of expecting. They didn't bring Charizard Ninetales. That's the upside of having Politoed in Team Preview for us, and that made things a little bit easier because the 4 that they brought basically had no answer into ESCAVALIER, right? So, that was just a very, very clean ESCAVALIER game. But, yeah, definitely an interesting team. So, let's look for one last match here for the day. Alright, final game here. What do we got? Oh, this is scary. Okay, Torkoal, Venu, Dragapult, Glastrier, or Dusclops, Glastrier, Dragapult, Togekiss. So, like, 3 combinations of modes, basically. Oof, I think I'm going to go Cradily, Porygon again. I love this lead. I really do. Poor Xurkitree didn't get any action while we used this team, but I don't know. It just doesn't make much sense to me. Like, I have to sacrifice something, and, like, the other Pokemon we're bringing are normally just so strong and so good. It feels weird to not bring Incineroar into this matchup. If we had Taunt, I would probably lean towards bringing it, but I don't know. Like, I think, like, I need a ESCAVALIER here, I need Politoed here, I need Porygon here, so then that's a flex pick between Cradily and Incineroar. You could definitely make an argument for both, but the thing about Cradily is that it actually punishes, like, Togekiss, Glastrier, and Torkoal really, really hard, right? If you lead passively into Cradily, we have the option to just go for Meteor Beam and then Dynamax it after turn 1. If you lead offensively, you'll probably feel pressured by the Cradily, maybe you want to try to, just pick up a KO into it. The other main thing I want to watch out for here is Togekiss plus Dragapult as a lead, because Incineroar does nothing against that. Xurkitree doesn't have that much value against it. I suppose we could, like, max the Lightning, pick up a KO. I guess, like, yeah, Zergers would be interesting just as a max option if they led Togekiss Dragapult, but then, like, I don't know. Torkoal or Glastrier is likely waiting in the back. So, yeah. That is going to be Dusclops and... Oof. Okay, a little bit worried about the potential self-Shadow Sneak and a weakness policy. Even then, you shouldn't KO Porygon. Get a special attack boost as well. I don't know. Dragapult maxing here would be quite surprising to me, if anything. I think I'm kind of down to just go Meteor Beam into Dragapult here in Trick Room. What's the worst case? You know what? I don't think it makes that... Like, it's a little bit greedy to Meteor Beam. I'm down to just protect Trick Room turn 1. If they max, honestly, I feel like that's actually better for us because then we have the late game Dynamaxes ESCAVALIER to play towards, right? And that I would say puts us in a really good shape. They're going to commit the Dynamax, okay. I mean, I don't think, even if you Shadow Sneak Dragapult and its weakness policy, I don't think Wormwind KOs Porygon too. So if we survive that, like, it's fine, right? The only intriguing idea was going for, like... We also could have got Meteor Beam, Max, Hailstorm, Dragapult turn 1, but I don't love that. Especially because Max ESCAVALIER is really good into my opponent's team. So I'm expecting self-Shadow Sneak here, but maybe they just reverse my Trick Room turn 1. That'd also be interesting. Yep, okay, there it is. So ideally, they target Cradily here, because if they target Cradily, we're in such good shape. But even if they Wormwind Porygon, whatever, right? I could just recover it off this next turn. Perfect, the Phantasm. Yeah, that's why I just like felt like it wasn't worth attacking with Cradily, right? Like, what do I really gain out of it? Not that much. Now, that does get a defense drop on a Porygon, so one thing I have to be a little bit careful about is if my opponent like reverses Trick Room and then Wormwinds Porygon. But they commit a lot on that first turn, right? Now we reverse Trick Room. I've got a ESCAVALIER Politoed in the back. I think I want to just go for Meteor Beam and Ice Beam here. Now, there's a decent chance Dragapult goes Max Guard, Dusclops reverses Trick Room, but then you already spent 2 turns of your Dynamax to get what? Oh, okay, that works for me. I don't think we KO with this double up, but let's see. We definitely need to hit the Meteor Beam to start. Come on, Cradily, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Okay, we get the charge. It's so stressful because you go through like, what, 15 seconds of animation to see whether or not you hit. Okay, it does hit. Beautiful. We even get a crit. Based off that, I actually think we would have KO'd with the double up anyway, to be honest. But I can't say for sure, but double crit actually. Like we had a, I mean we had the special attack boost on Porygon, right? So I feel like we were probably good there, but now I think that just ensures us the game more than anything, right? They don't even have a Dynamax to play towards anymore. Probably have Torkoal or Glastrier here. Yeah. That was obviously a lucky turn for us. I'm not going to deny it, but we take those. I think I like just going for Max. Rockfall into Torkoal, and then switch Porygon out into Politoed here. Changes the weather. You can still win this game if you're my opponent, though. I honestly can't help but think whether or not we should have... I mean, the reason I'm going for this is because if they don't protect the Torkoal, we one-shot it, the game's just over, because I click Perish Song next turn. But yeah, I don't think Dragapult was surviving the Meteor Beam and the +1 Ice Beam, but I could be wrong on that. Like, maybe it's really bulky Dragapult, but I'm not sure. Anyway, the reason I'm going for this is because, like, I feel like it covers all of my options. Like, there's no way your Torkoal, unless you're, like, Specs Earth Power. I guess now I'm Helping Hand Specs Earth Power into Cradily. I mean, the odds of that are so slim. Like, that's such an obscure scenario. And even if you're Specs, I don't know if that would KO with Helping Hand, but let's find out. If Torkoal faints here, the game's just over, right? Okay. I like that play. That's a good one. So Ally switch Helping Hand, and they just Eruption. That does nothing in the rain. Wow. Okay. So Helping Hand, Shadow Sneak, Ally switch. That means your last one should be Trick Room, right? So you shouldn't have Nightshade or Pain Split. If that's the case, I mean, that's actually really interesting. But works for me. I have the Sandstorm up now, so Cradily is taking less damage from special attacks. So we can always just Rockfall into the Torkoal slot. If Torkoal protects, whatever. I'm fine just going for Rockfall, and we can even Surf to increase Cradily's special attack even further. So I'm down for that. Gives me a little bit of chip. Okay, they were going to protect Torkoal. That's fine. I mean, Dusclops does nothing of use right now, right? So, like, I just really don't have to care about it very much. And in fact, like, there's, like, Trick Room is slowly getting stalled out. Look how much damage that does through Protect. Wow. Jeez. Okay, nice. I mean, Dusclops has to have Trick Room, right? It has to be Trick Room, Shadow Sneak, Ally Switch, Helping Hand. If it's not Trick Room, it's one of Nightshade or Pain Split, but... what are they even doing here? They're reversing the Trick Room. Alright. Makes sense. I mean, what else do you even do in that position? Well, actually, no, reversing Trick Room doesn't make sense, because now I just outspeed you, right? Like, there's no way you can win now. What they have in the back? Glastrier, Togekiss. Yeah. I'm just going to Rock Fall here and Surf. We're faster with Politoed. I think Surf probably just KOs Torkoal here in the sand. Let's see. You just go for another Ally Switch. Yeah, I mean, this is the downside of running Ally Switch on your Dusclops, right? And Shadow Sneak and Helping Hand. Like, you don't have a Nightshade or a Pain Split. To be honest, neither of those moves would have helped my opponent here at all either. And, like, Cradily actually just kind of sweeps my opponent's entire team from this spot. As soon as we got that knockout on a Dragapult. But, like, even if Dragapult didn't faint there, right, like, you at best get a KO onto a Cradily or a Porygon 2. They didn't reverse my Trick Room there, right? So then I get a free switch in and you're super low HP. Now, they did have Ally Switch, so that would definitely add a little bit more variance to the game. But I'm thinking without the crit, we still were fine based off how much damage Porygon could have done there. But like I said, I could be wrong. And that obviously just instantly won us the game rather than... yeah, like, it made the match a lot easier. It's really interesting that Venusaur is their last one here. Okay. So, let's see. +3 special attack, jeez. Yeah, I'm just going to Energy Ball here. Switch Politoed out into Escavalier. And then Escavalier, obviously, will just wall the Venusaur. So, yeah. Definitely a interesting match there. We take those. But definitely got pretty fortunate on turn 2 of the game. Either way, though, I think we were in great shape because they committed their Dynamax and, like, got nothing out of their turn 1. And then we would have gotten such a big burst of damage on turn 2, where it's like even if we missed, or sorry, even if we didn't get the crit and they survive, it's still definitely a very winnable game. But yeah, main thing here is Dusclops not having any, like, damaging or utility moves outside of what they have. And when you go with this duel, you're kind of going all in on Dragapult early game, right? And so Dragapult wasn't able to have that much of an impact. No Glastrier in the back made things handy for us. I was honestly most worried about Togekiss plus Dragapult, but because, like, they could Dragon Dance with that combination, but fortunately for us, they didn't lead it. So yeah. So there's Venusaur, Dusclops, Torkoal. Yeah, Eruption, Flamethrower, Body Press. Really couldn't do too much into Cradily. Weakness Policy. Glastrier here. And then Scope. This is an interesting Togekiss set. Nasty Plot, Helping Hand, Follow Me, Dazzling Gleam. But if I let Cradily, like, my lead was to cover for Togekiss, right? If they go Togekiss Dragapult, I could just Meteor Beam and Trick Room turn 1. So even if you Dragon Dance with Dragapult, you're not that much of a threat. And to be honest, Cradily has a really fantastic matchup into this entire team composition. So I wanted to put on the pressure early with Cradily and then flex it as a potential Dynamax option later on, basically. So yeah. Anyway, though, that was a really fun set of games. I'm glad I could feature the Escavalier a little bit more in the second game. Glad that, you know, Escavalier, Cradily, and Porygon all put in so much work here. Sad that Xurkitree didn't really get to come out very much, but this is a really fun team, so had a lot of fun playing with it. Thank you to you all, as always, for watching. Details are in the description below. Check out the original creator as well. Leave a like if you enjoy. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.